This program is brought to you by the Vegetarian Society of Hawaii, a nonprofit organization dedicated to sharing with the community the many benefits of a vegetarian diet. Free monthly meetings include vegetarian experts found locally and on the mainland, quick and easy cooking demonstrations, and healthful and delicious food samples. Members enjoy an informative quarterly newsletter, social activities, and discounts at many vegetarian-friendly restaurants and health food stores. For an application, call 944-8344. That's 944-8344. Or visit our website at www.vsh.org. vsh.org.
Welcome everybody to the monthly meeting of the Vegetarian Society of Hawaii, our monthly free public lecture. Thank you for coming. So let me do the usual introductions. The Vegetarian Society is a not-for-profit volunteer organization founded 19 years ago to promote human health, animal welfare, and the protection of the environment by means of vegetarian education. It's amongst the largest vegetarian societies in the nation with more than 2,000 members. We'd like to encourage you to join the Vegetarian Society tonight. You receive an informative newsletter, are informed of social events that take place, and receive discounts at many vegetarian-friendly restaurants and health food stores, including Down to Earth, Huckleberry Farms, and Vim and Vigor Waimalu. These benefits by themselves cover the cost of membership, and of course you will be helping to promote a healthful and compassionate lifestyle throughout the islands. As usual, food samples are available tonight courtesy of Down to Earth Natural Foods. Please stay afterwards and help us finish it. Tonight's lecture will be videotaped for broadcast as usual and will be shown on the VSH weekly TV series Vegetarian. On Oahu, the program airs on Thursdays at 6 p.m. on Olelo Channel 52. It will also be available in a few weeks, possibly a little less, at vsh.org. It'll be available worldwide at that website, being taped right now by Dr. Bill Harris. It's time for me to introduce our special guest. Gene Baur is with us tonight. He lives in upstate New York at one of the campuses of Farm Sanctuary. He is co-founder and president of Farm Sanctuary, America's leading farm animal protection organization. He holds a master's degree in agricultural economics from Cornell University and has conducted hundreds of visits to farms, stockyards, and slaughterhouses to document the conditions there. His pictures and videotape exposing factory farming cruelty have been aired nationally and internationally, educating millions. He has testified in court and before local, state, and federal legislative bodies, and has initiated groundbreaking legal enforcement and legislative action to prevent farm animal abuse. He played an important role in passing the first U.S. laws to prohibit cruel farming methods, including the Florida ban on gestation crates, the Arizona ban on veal crates and gestation crates, and the California ban, the very recent one at the last November's elections, on veal crates, gestation crates, and battery cages, and the California ban on foie gras. His efforts have been covered by leading news organizations, including the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, National Public Radio, ABC, NBC, CBS, and CNN. In tonight's presentation, Mr. Baur will discuss changing hearts and minds about animals and food. Please welcome Gene Baur.
Well, thank you very much. It is wonderful to be here. This time of year in upstate New York, where I normally am, it's kind of cold and rainy and chilly. And I guess it's been rainy and chilly here in Hawaii for Hawaii, but it's actually pretty warm for somebody from upstate New York. So it's wonderful to be here in this warm weather and to be here with all your warm faces and warm hearts. I've been staying with Carl, and every time I come here I learn more about the islands and about sort of the integration that happens here between different people from different perspectives. It's just a wonderful place, and I love coming here. So I'm going to talk about my book, which is called Farm Sanctuary: Changing Hearts and Minds About Animals and Food. This book chronicles the work over the past 20 or so years documenting factory farming conditions. And thankfully, it's getting out there. Lots of people are picking this book up, and it's having a positive impact. And so I'm very happy about that. It talks about Farm Sanctuary, which is a place where the animals are our friends, not our food. Once the animals come to Farm Sanctuary, they get to live out their lives and they get to be who they are. Cows get to graze and get to interact with other cows in the fields. Pigs get to go out and root, and here a couple guys are coming in and they've obviously had their noses in the dirt. Pigs are very earthy animals. They love the dirt. They have very sensitive noses. So they can smell truffles and other things under the soil, but they also have very powerful noses. They can dig up trunks of trees in some cases. But their noses are still very sensitive. And if you think about these pigs living in these factory farms where all they do for 24 hours a day is breathe in these noxious fumes from their feces, you know, it makes that sensitive nose, it makes that situation that much more disturbing. But once the animals come to us again, they get to enjoy life. And they flourish. Some animals come in afraid, but then they learn to trust us, and then they learn to play. Here's a picture of Simon, one of our goats, who's playing with Dan, and they're just having a good time. And they also learn compassion. This is a picture of Lydia, who we used to call Lydia the hugging turkey. When we would go out to the barn and squat or sit down, Lydia would come over to us and she would crane her neck around people's necks, sort of like she was giving a hug. So that's why she got to be known as Lydia the hugging turkey. So I've lived on a farm for the past 20 or so years, but I didn't grow up on a farm. You know, like most people, I grew up in a city, and like many people, I had a cat. That's me and my cat Tiger when I was a little guy, and he was my best friend. I grew up in the Hollywood Hills, and I saw wild animals. And as a child, and as I think most children, you know, I was in awe of these wild animals, and I really connected with Tiger and other dogs and cats in the neighborhood. But although I did have respect for these individuals, I was still eating hamburgers. In fact, when I was in high school and college, I did extra work in television and movies. I grew up in Hollywood, and I actually did some commercials for McDonald's, I'm kind of embarrassed to say. So I kind of grew up, like most people, eating meat, milk and eggs, not thinking very much about it, but still having a sensitivity to animals and saying, I like animals, but I was eating them. I didn't get the connection there until, as time went, I started learning more, and I finally did get the connection. And there's so many aspects of this, and I'll just talk about a few. Healthcare. This is from Colin Campbell's book called The China Study, and if anybody's interested in sort of the science on eating plant-based diet and the benefits of it, I would recommend The China Study. And this just compares the healthcare costs in the US versus other countries, and you can see in the US, our healthcare costs are the highest. You know, we're often told that we have cheap food in this country, the most plentiful food supply. But our cheap food comes with a cost, and healthcare is just one cost. And this shows that our expenses for healthcare are increasing, and hopefully with the new administration, there will be a recognition of the importance of diet in addressing some of our chronic health problems in this country. And we can prevent so many problems, as many of you I'm sure know, by eating plants instead of animals.